These are 5 principles you have to know to be any good at leg locks. The first rule of leg locks is that you should begin with the end in mind. Meaning that I want you to learn how to break the foot first. I want you to learn the mechanics of it. I want you to start with the submission ready to rock and roll. That'll make you want to get into these leg lock positions and want to learn the actual game, because you'll have a weapon to use when you do get there. Here's how we're going to learn to break the foot. Elbow goes to the pinky toe. Hand lifts the heel. Wristwatch goes underneath. Elbow goes to my hip as my shoulder replaces my elbow. My hip comes off the ground. I give a drive with my hip and an upward pull tap here with this hand. So I have my partner seated here. I've got the double outside ashi, which means both of my feet are on the outside of his hip, and my partner has his knee bent and his foot flat on the floor. He's sitting on both hips, knee bent, foot flat on the floor. That's important. Make sure you line the uke up right so that you can learn the position well. Take your elbow and put it right here beside the knuckle of his pinky toe. And then take this hand and just pick his leg up. Slide your wrist underneath and then pull your hand back to here in line. So I'm pulling my elbow down, basically. Your hand's not gonna make it up there, but I want the elbow to come down to here. As that happens, I want to replace my elbow with my shoulder on the ground. On that same spot where my elbow was, now my shoulder drops. Now my hips go towards him. I have an upward pull and my hips are off the ground as I drive laterally across this way. Tap. The same mechanics that you just learned for the outside heel hook are also true for the inside heel hook. You can just switch your legs like that. Now I'm in this honey hole position, or you can bring this foot across to like the outside senkaku or 50-50, but it's easiest to learn from right here. Exact same mechanics. Elbow goes to the line of the toes, lift the heel, wristwatch underneath, shoulder drops to where the elbow is, and now the hips come off the ground, upward pull, and a lateral drive with my hip. The second rule of leg locks is I want you to stay curled up into a ball, like Sonic the Hedgehog moving through the level. Stay curled up the whole time. Here's why I want you to stay curled up into a ball. Reason number 1. Say I got this honey hole position, and he goes to start this turn away escape. If I let my body get long here, as we get upside down, it's easy for him to start to slip that knee line, and now I'm chasing, or maybe he's countering me right there. But when he turns, if I stay curled up into a ball, look, knees to elbows, even without a grip, it's super hard for him to pull that knee line out. When I say stay curled up into a ball, I'm talking about knees together with your elbows, round spine. That allows you to take and move weight easily too. Look, it's right here on this outside heel hook as well. So I slide into an ashi and I start to reap, and he runs. I stay long. When I turn the corner, he starts slipping that knee line. I'm losing my entanglement. I stay curled up, even without really any gripping at all. Knees to elbows. Dude, I don't lose that knee line at all. Like and subscribe. The other reason I want you to stay curled up into a ball is because it's gonna be easier for you to move around underneath him and to move his weight and take advantage of his little misbalances, all right? So if I stay flat from a position like this and I try to kick through and come around to ashi, man, I can't even get even if I like turn and he gives me an hour to get over there, it's no good. But when I have the position like this and I stay curled up into a ball, a little bit of movement back to my shoulders right there, and I hit a serious angle when I turn the corner. And I'm primed to move his weight. If he starts to bring his weight back this way, looking back over my eyeballs right here, that's my time to start moving through and finding that position there. Once you've learned the braking mechanics, and once you've learned to stay balled up so that you can get into position and actually keep position, you're gonna need this third principle, which is don't reach too early. All right, it's a common theme I see in all submissions. People get excited and they reach for the finish way too early. Let's say I got JM, man, he's in a bad spot here. His heel's already exposed. I got the angle that I want. but his leg is long right here. Look at this nice straight leg. If I turn and reach for this, even if I get the heel, I turn him in a way that makes it super hard for me to stop him from slipping his knee line. I don't have anything jammed up behind his knee. So instead of reaching and opening my body right there, I want to curl his heel back to his butt with my motion of knees to elbows. Same thing I'm using to play my guard. Same thing when I tell you to stay balled up like Sonic the Hedgehog here. And now you can start to reach back with that opposite hand and put the toes in the armpits. And now you've got a really nice grip. And it won't really, you won't really get much fight out of it. All right, same thing's true on the, let's do the outside heel hit on this side. Nice, dude, I got a great reach. Look, oh my gosh, everything's beautiful, right? Straight leg though. Reaching back creates a turn. Bending him in creates an opportunity. Number 4, PIB, pin, isolate, break. For some reason, people think that leg locks are like magical and that the rules of Jiu Jitsu don't apply. They're like this new set of rules for leg locks, but that's not true. Like, you don't see flying Americanas for a reason, right? Like, you wanna finish an Americana, you gotta pin the guy down, you gotta isolate his limb, and you gotta break his shoulder, right? So you pin him down so he can't move and escape, you isolate his limb, and then you break his shoulder. The same thing is true for leg locks. You have to pin, isolate, and break. Tonin hit a flying scissor leg on Najmi at ADCC. Yeah, but he still went through all the same processes. He just did it really fast. He got into a position, he isolated the limb, and then he went for the break. It just all happened in a flash because he caught him by surprise. If you want to break legs, you have to learn the positions of leg locking. There's 6 basic positions of leg locks. They look like this: 3 on the outside, 3 on the inside. Here are the outside positions. There's Ashi Garami, which is a really basic entanglement, right? There's the Reap, which is over here on this side. And then there's double outside Ashi, both feet on the outside. This is the best position to break. This is the best position to isolate that heel. This is the easiest position to enter, but it doesn't offer that much control or like real, there's some heel exposure here, but not nearly as much as here. And that's a break. On the inside position, there are 3 inside leg locks. The first one is the top side Ashi. Again, easy to enter, but pretty hard. It's got a good isolation here, but he could just roll out because there's nothing pinning his hip. So it's not a pinning position. It doesn't get used very often because of that. The second position, just like on the outside, I can reap, and now I can have the honey hole or the 411 or the cross Ashi or the inside Senkaku, or that's the reap. And then both feet go to the outside, and that's the 50-50, right? So top side, honey hole, 50. Ashi, reap, DOA, or double outside Ashi. The final, and arguably the most important rule of leg locks, is know when to bail. When I was a blue belt, I brought Chris Herzog down. Chris is a black belt under Eddie. He's like a Sambo guru, he's like a judo black belt. But back at that time, he was the guy who was giving all the leg lock knowledge out with 10th Planet for the most part. And so I brought him down for a week to train with me, and 3 hours a night he taught leg lock. And the very first thing that he started off with is know when to bail. All right, this is more of a mindset than a technique. When you start to find yourself, maybe you entered the legs, you created this situation, but now the other guy starts to feel like he's happy to be there, or he's starting to play with counters. Get out of dodge, look for the back, look for a sweep, look to stand up, but know when to bail. And especially if you're thinking about doing leg locks for MMA or self-defense or any kind of fighting, the best use of a leg lock in that situation is probably to get back to your feet and get out of there. I have a 4-week curriculum on leg locks, and you need to check it out, especially if you're new to Jiu Jitsu, or maybe you're old to Jiu Jitsu, but you're new to leg locks. This will give you your first 4 weeks of what to drill and how much to drill it. Link is in the description. I got a coupon code down there too.